Hello and welcome to this special webinar by Wall Street English Tunisia. Today we have a really special guest. We have Sarah Sandid. She is Program Manager at Wall Street English like Ant. And today Sarah will be discussing a really interesting topic, and I think it's important and we need to address it. It's the importance of English language in the banking finance sector.
Thank you so much for the invitation again. It's really an important topic, and I would love to share some of the insights with you.
Good, we are really glad to have you with us, Sarah, today. So, Sarah, as a professional and expert in teaching English, so my first question is, why English is so important in the banking, finance and insurance sectors?
Well, it's not only for banking and insurance and the finance sector, it's for every sector really, but for the finance and the banking sector it's very important because for 3 points mainly. Okay. First, it's a for the global communication, so okay. It's a language that we use all around different channels of communication, whether it's emails, whether it's business meetings online or like face-to-face business meetings, and also in terms of financial reports and regulations, there are a lot of technical words that people need to know, and because it's very important, especially in finance, because like if there's a certain regulation that is written or a certain word that is written in a certain band of the regulation, it changes the whole context if someone gets it wrong. So this is one, and also pretty much for career growth. So if you have English as a language that you already know and that you're fluent in, then definitely you're going to have more opportunities abroad and in working in the international companies as well.
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting point of view, and as you mentioned, English, it can be, it should be important for every sector, but for career growth, I think English in this new era that we are living in, everything is connected, everything is like one giant community. I think it's really important.
English is the language of business after all. It's not French, it's not Spanish, it's not Chinese, it's English.
Yeah, exactly.
So it should be for any communication, it's going to be always English. The answer is always English.
That's so true. So, and even here in Tunisia, many professionals interact with international bank and investors. But what happens if someone in this field has weak English skills? So you mentioned earlier a little bit about the importance of understanding the words, and it's something really critical as this finance and banking sector. Everything needs to be really clear. So what are the other issues that may appear?
Well, imagine the situation. You have a weak English skills, and you're in a meeting with people coming from the different countries, and maybe you have a presentation to present, or maybe you have to follow with a certain presentation presented by someone else, and you don't understand what they're talking about, or you have inability to express yourself in the right words that you want to express yourself with. It's very frustrating. It creates a lot of embarrassment inside, a lot of frustration inside, and like you would like to improve yourself, but at the same time you feel like you're like lacking, and it's frustrating.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think it's frustrating, but I think, as you also mentioned, the lack of the ability to express the ideas that you have, to express the details that you need to explain for everyone, I think that's really crucial.
Yes, it is important, because like I'm sure a lot of people know how to express themselves in their original language, or maybe in a second language, like for us French for most people, but now if you want to express yourself in English but you are unable to, most of the words that you want are in French, and you think maybe a lot of people think that maybe they translate the same in English, but it's not the case.
Yeah.
And so it's going to give a lot of people the wrong ideas sometimes, or maybe like people like, what do you mean by this word? Like it's not an English word.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's frustrating, and also like it makes people uncomfortable, or maybe like they feel a little bit like the people who are receiving the information, they will be a little bit confused. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Thank you.
Good. So Sarah, so we talked about the importance of English for these sectors, and what can happen and what are the consequences of having weak English. Unfortunately, it's not something that someone can tolerate in these industries. So as a professional, as an expert in English training here at Wall Street English Tunisia, can you share with us what are the biggest challenges for professionals, and mainly bank, insurance and finance employees that came here to Wall Street English and wanted to learn English?
Okay, so the main challenges are going to be technical vocabulary related to the sector that they are working on, and also they might be having problems with writing certain emails or reports. And for number 3, and it's a very, very important challenge, or main challenge for most of the people, it's the lack of confidence. So they will be speaking, like they will not have the same confidence that they would have in their original language or their second language. So confidence when you're trying to pitch an idea in a language that you're not very comfortable with, it's not going to be the same effect, or it's not going to be as convincing as given it in the language that you're more confident in.
That's so true. And so Sarah, how can anyone overcome these challenges?
Very easy. Mainly they need to focus on learning the key vocabulary that they need for that sector that they're working on. Something else that is very important, because let's say for example you study on a book and you practice on a workbook, but since you're not really practicing a real life situation, you will forget all that you studied.
Exactly.
And that's the case for most of the people who studied in elementary, high school, or whatever. They usually study English. It's not that we didn't study English, they do, but they don't remember it because they don't use it, they don't practice it in real life situations. So this is another point that they need to do. And for the third one is that they need maybe to enroll in a business English learning course.
At Wall Street English you have this?
Of course we do.
Yeah, so this is really a great transition. If someone is watching this webinar today and he's thinking, what makes Wall Street English different from other institutes that help people to learn English?
That's a very good question. Well, we offer flexible learning. When we say flexible learning, it means that any time of the day, any time of the week, you want to have a lesson, you can do so very easily by a click in your platform. And then
so sorry to interrupt here, but is it I'm going to be only learning on the platform with the robots?
No, you're going to be learning on the platform, and then you're going to use that learning that you studied on the platform and use it with somehow it seems like a real life situation, but what we call an encounter. It's basically an evaluation of what you studied, but it's going to be done in like either face-to-face or an online with a certified English teacher.
Okay, that's clear. So if I understood you correctly, so it's going to be a part on the platform, learning on myself and my own pace whenever I want.
Yes.
The other part, it will be talking to a professional, so it's either face-to-face or online, but it will be talking and he will be evaluating my English skills. Right?
Yes, and you'll be also joined by other students from all over the world or from your local center. And there will be a lot of interaction, and in the actual encounter itself there are a lot of practice that is done in pairs or in a group. So practicing real life situation and practicing using English is there and it's given, so students can actually speak in English. They are not only studying it, they're actually using the language.
That's really interesting.
With real life scenarios as well, because and this is a good point, it's not like a random situations, but they're real life situation, like situation that prepares you to real life
situation,
like situation in the real life, where, like for example, if you're traveling abroad, if you have a meeting, if you're meeting with someone, if you want to have a certain conversation about whatever topic, you will find these real life situations.
And for people in our banking and finance industry, so will they find this specific workshop for their industries?
Yes, they do.
Really?
We do have that. It's mainly for upper level students, because they need to have a good level of basic English first to get to that point, but they will have that, of course, and they will see a lot of vocabulary related to the finance sector and real life situations as well, where they can use the actual language as well.
Good. Thank you very much, Sarah, for this explanation. So, Sarah, if someone at their company want to enroll their employees at Wall Street English Tunisia with this really interesting method and these real life situations, how can they do it?
Again, it's very easy because once they have an appointment with a B2B consultant, the B2B will handle all of their
questions,
employees, their questions, and the employees will have to do a personalized test assessment.
Okay.
So like each one of them will be assessed individually. It's not like a whole group where all of them from different levels they would study together. No, it's a personalized learning method, and each one will have their own test and their own level assessment as well.
Oh, that's interesting. So one by one.
One by one, yes.
Okay, and is it paid?
No.
Ah, okay, and it's also offered.
Yes, it is offered.
That's really interesting. So I think this concludes this amazing talk with you, Sarah. Thank you for your time. Thank you for all this information that you shared with us, and hopefully that a lot of our viewers, we help them to understand more the importance of English in banking and finance sectors, but also how Wall Street English, and as Ms. Sarah explained, can help these professionals achieve their goals. Thank you everyone, and see you next time.
Thank you.